Hi there, I'm going to do a review and a little chat about these fantastic boots. I'm going to try and get their very long-winded name correct, okay? They're the Haix, might be wrong straight away with the pronunciation there, H-A-I-X, Haix, German boot company, well known out there. They make the boots for the British Army, very good boots indeed, okay? So these are the Black Eagle, version 2, athletic, high desert zipped. I think I've got all the things that are in the title of this particular boot. So they do all sorts of different variations with and without the zip, different colours, different heights, some with Gore-Tex, some without. This is without. I think the idea being that it makes it a little bit more breathable possibly, and you know, it's sort of designed not to keep your foot dry. I don't know. It does have water repellent attributes. So if you stuck the boot sort of into water, like up to that level, at that angle, it will stay dry. But as soon as it reaches the bottom of the zip, the water's going to go flooding in because the flap is not a sort of continuous flap right across. Sorry, there might be a different colour because these are wet, because I was playing in a river earlier today, getting some footage for you of them performing in water. They are extremely light. What do they weigh? 800 grams, 600 grams. I don't know if that's for two boots or one boot, but it's on the literature. But it is, just take it for granted, it is a very light boot, more like a trainer. Very nice support around the heel, that's nice and solid. It felt, when I first got it, a little tight across the midfoot, across here. And so I first, without boring you, I first ordered an 11.5. It was too big because I am normally an UK 11. They didn't have any of those, so I wanted them. And sometimes you have to buy a bigger boot depending on the design of the boot. It varies, doesn't it? So I thought I'd take a punt with the 11.5, but it was too big, too long. Then I got the 10.5, too small. Eventually, they did have the 11s in stock, so I ordered it, and it does fit me like a boot, like a glove, actually, is the real saying, isn't it? So the materials, it's got suede on the side, suede pattern, got an H for Haix there, Haix. It's got this interesting little malleolus pad over your lateral malleolus. Doesn't have one on the medial side because there is a zip. But I think, if I'm honest with you, structure governs design in these things. I've got a feeling that these are here to stiffen up that area, because if there's too much flexibility in the upper part of the boot, I think it could risk damaging the zip, causing it to break. So I wonder if they've stiffened it up to protect the zip. Just an idea. I don't know. I don't design boots. I don't work for Haix, but that's just a guess. It has what they call a two-zone lacing system, which is fantastic. Okay, it's all due to this fancy, is it going to focus on that fancy system there, just there. That's what we're looking at, which allows you to tighten up this dependent on that part, and vice versa. So if you want that nice and tight grip in the foot, you can, and you can have this totally loose. Or, as I say, vice versa. That's a nice feature. I've not seen that on any other boots that I've owned anyway. It's got a very hard toe on it, as you can see. It's not down as it's quite a flat toe as well, so that fits quite broad feet, I would suggest. Very good grips. I mean, they're meant to be slip resistant. Who would make a boot that was slippery deliberately? And it's meant to be hot and cold properties, whatever that is. It's meant to be, let's get the right wording, it's got a climate system, something to do with the pumping action as you walk, ventilates the boot and moves moisture from the bottom of the boot up through the tongue and the shaft of the boot, through ventilation system. I don't know how that works, don't know, but it is a very comfortable boot. I would say my foot gets quite warm in it, but it's going to. I've got a sock on and I've got a boot on that sock. So it's, I've not worn it in desert conditions. I live in Cornwall, which is more wet than desert, but certainly the weather's quite nice at the moment, and it's a great boot. It looks smart. I love this thing coming over on the tongue. It does have a little bit of a function. Actually, I've just reminded myself I do need to wash my hands after this. If you can look under there, is it? Yeah, you can. There's a little area built into that flap that you stuff the your sort of excess laces into. They do that in some of their other models. In the Scout, I noticed they have a little thing on the side you stuff the laces to. If you're in any sort of dirty environment, that's handy. What else let's get the insole out. So the insole is meant to be a certified orthopedic insole. I am also an osteopath, so I can give you some good feedback here. So there's a little bit of an arch support, as you can see in there. And there's these little ventilation holes too. So it's part of the ventilation system. This is washable at 30 degrees. Chuck that down there. Let me have a little look inside the boot and see if there's any built-up arch. There's no built-up arch in the inside the boot that I can feel or see. So it's not the most arched, not like a trainer would necessarily be. So I think that just about covers it. I'm going to run through some, I've got some footage. I might have intertwined it with what we've talked about during the video, or I might just put it on now. I haven't decided. That'll be down to, I'll tell you what, I'm going to add it now, put some music on it, make it entertaining for you. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching this. Oh, I didn't mention, I don't think I did, the leaflets that come with, it's a quality boot and it's done thoughtfully. So Haix make army boots, made for the British Army. Did I mention that? I've done several takes of this. I've lost track of what I mentioned already. They also make boots for firemen and all sorts of different things. So they're a well-known boot making company. But there's a nice leaflet about how to look after the zip and user information leaflet. It's all good. I mean, it's good. I've just spent £140 on these boots. It's nice to get information on how to look after them, rather than just to wear them and chuck them in the cupboard, or not wear them and leave them like that. This gives them extra life, and I wouldn't be surprised if you could possibly get these resold. Don't know about that, but usually the more money you spend on your shoes, your boots, the more probability you can make them last even longer as well with follow-up like that. I have used their customer services at Haix, and I have to say they were brilliant. Really prompt with the replies. When I had difficulties with the sizing, they were very helpful indeed. So top marks from me for that, and top marks for the boots. Actually, before we go to the video, I just want to compare them very quickly with some of my other boots. So I say I have wide feet. This is a set of Keens. They're insulated winter boot. Again, I like a wide boot. The Keens do always come wide, and you see a nice big flat toe on that. So quite a different shape. So Keens, if you've got big wide feet like me, Keens are great. And then this here is a Scarpa. I've forgotten which one this is. I've got it written down. The Trek GTX. So this is a Gore-Tex, and this is what I would use more winter, really rough conditions. This is going to be my summer boot. So different boots, different conditions. That's what I do. I think that's reasonable. But this is a great summer boot. Great if you don't want to be spending ages lacing it up. Water resistance, so good in wet grass. But it's got a limit of there as far as water depth is concerned if you're wading through rivers. A fantastic boot, very much worth considering. Thanks for watching.